Hello, welcome to Victoria Commons. My name is Heather, and we're here today with a couple of special guests. We have Al and Christina joining us from the Coda Club in Victoria. We're here at their space, which is just opened, very exciting. And we're here to talk about community and ways to access community within Victoria.
Welcome to the pod. I'm Megan. It's the Victoria Commons, and we're talking about community in terms of music and live music, and that's what you guys are all about here at the Coda Club. So just tell us a little bit about how you got into this space and sort of what prompted all of this.
Oh man, so Christina and I, we travel a lot and we love live music, and we both play. And we both have been in bands. She's still in bands and stuff, and we care so much about live music that when all the music venues in Victoria were kind of disappearing, we were sad, and it was a hit to us emotionally. And so we were sitting on the sofa having a glass of wine and talking about all the venues that had gone down. The event center just went down and all kinds of stuff, and we were like, this needs to stop. Music is such an important part of culture that if we don't have venues dedicated to live music, we're going to be missing a piece of culture. And so we decided to be a part of the solution instead of just complaining about it. And that's how this whole thing started. It's not like we had a ton of money and said this would be a great business. Yes. We're like, let's start a business when all the businesses in that world are failing. That sounds like a great idea. But because we cared so much about the live music community, we wanted to save this space specifically because we love this stage.
Wow, that's so special. Have either of you performed on this stage before?
Yeah, many times.
Yes.
Many times as a dancer and as a musician, and I actually got to play opening night and then dance on the next night. Just coincidentally, it worked out that way.
Very, very groovy. What role do you think that music makes in supporting community and bringing people together? How have you experienced this firsthand in your participation in the music community?
Well, I think that when you come to a show, especially in kind of an intimate space like this where you can really connect with the musicians, you're sharing an experience between people of all different backgrounds. So it doesn't matter where you're from or how much money you make. If you're here to enjoy it, you're sharing that experience and getting to meet people you maybe never would have met before. And then you've got this shared memory and feeling that you're not going to forget. And when you're that close to the band, it's really magic because the people on the stage have put so much time and energy into learning their craft and creating their music and rehearsing and getting ready to throw their hearts out to you, that when you're close enough to feel it, it's just magic.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I can tell that this is like a really emotional. Yeah.
It's a passion project for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that as a society, we need to emotionally connect with each other, right? Like if we're not, then society degrades. And all of these kind of experiences are things that emotionally connect everyone in the room, from the band to the fans to the staff. There's a giant, music is emotion. And so using music to connect is a big part of culture and community. And so that's why we think it's so important, is because a city without live music misses those pieces of community connection.
Well, and like you said, we travel a lot. I have a dance group that travels internationally. We go to Puerto Rico every year. And I think what really made me realize all of this so much is years ago, they had that terrible hurricane that just about wiped out the entire island. And one thing that brought them all together was music. So they would be out in the street cleaning up I'm going to get choked up again, cleaning up their street and their town with all of their neighbors that maybe weren't friends before. And then when it's over, you have a street party with a live band. And the government, life is tough there, but they have these community parties where they spend a lot of money to bring lots of different genres of live music outside for free so everybody can experience that together. And they use it as a way to forget about how hard life is, just to forget about all of your problems. And when you go to something like that, you just leave it all behind and you just enjoy and have fun. And then you go back to how hard things are. And for me, I'm getting choked up again. During COVID, when I couldn't do dance shows and couldn't play in a band, that was when I really realized how important it was. And it was really hard to get through that without it. And so the first time I played on stage with the band after COVID, I was like losing it the entire time. And I just can't even imagine what life would be like without a place to go to find that feeling. So that's why it's so important.
That's really, really beautiful that you guys are providing that for the music community. And so from what I understand, this is going to be exclusively a live music space. And what kind of genres of music are you hoping to bring in here?
I was wondering, because downstairs is Herman's Jazz Club, so it's not, I'm thinking it's not going to be jazz-centric, or is it? Or is it?
We're not going to be centric.
Ooh,
So
okay.
we want live music, good live music in here 7 days a week if we can. And like Friday and Saturday nights, because we do the early show in the bar room and the main show in here, we'll have 2 live shows every Friday and Saturday night, and we'll expand out to Thursdays and Sundays and just keep moving out. We don't have any, we're not setting the genre. We're not doing, so we have like disco bands and jazz bands and all kinds of stuff. Because downstairs has a capacity in terms of like 126 or something. Up here we have 250.
Yeah.
So there will be as bands grow, there's like a natural progression through the building. They can play the front room up to 126, and then if they're jazzing, they can go down to Herman's for shows. If they're not, they can stay up here, and then if they outgrow Herman's downstairs, they can come up here for shows. So we want this to be open to all levels of music, and we love it to be a space that Victorians just know, hey, I need to go and be in community around music tonight. I know there's going to be a show at the Coda, and I know it's going to be good.
But at the same time, we're being very mindful of the jazz club downstairs. Like we've set all of our times for shows to make sure that our sound doesn't affect their shows at all, because their stage is right underneath ours. And we're not going to go after their jazz groups to play up here. We're kind of a different size. Like you said, we have the small stage and we have the larger stage. So we're doing all of this in the hopes that Herman's will do better. And that was one of the things that drove us to take the space, is we were scared that something would end up in here that might hurt the jazz club. So even though jazz could be up here, it won't be at the expense of the jazz club.
100%.
I know that the jazz club often has like 2 shows per evening with a specific jazz band. If there was the need for a 3rd show, do you think that you could offer that, like as the jazz band maybe plays the first show at the 5 o'clock and the second show at the 7 o'clock, and then maybe when Herman's kind of wraps up downstairs, can they come up to the Coda and do like a 3rd show if the need saw fit for them?
Yeah, I think it all depends on if they're selling out the shows, though, right? Like we're one of the main reasons we're doing this too is because we both play younger and Christina still plays in bands. We understand that the value in musicians that the city places on musicians, and not the city, like the city, but the citizens of Victoria are placing on musicians is when they're getting paid. They get paid today what we would have got paid in the 80s and 90s, and
less now than I used
to do this. Like Christina was in a full-time salsa band back then, playing all over the place, and it's hard to do that now because as the cost of living has gone up, we haven't started paying musicians more.
Right.
And so they're making less money by a long shot than you would have made in the 80s and 90s. And so that's a big goal, is to do that. So when we're trying to help bands, we want to help them sell out. We want to help them have big shows because that puts money in their pockets. And then we're doing extra things, like we built our own ticketing engine because you guys know, you've been to events and all of a sudden there's like a $6 ticketing fee on your $25 ticket and all that. So we just erased all that by building our own and not having to use anyone else's. So our ticketing engine is just the ticket price plus GST. And then we put a donation box on every ticket, and that goes directly to the band. And so the 3 bands we had playing here last night all made a bunch of money in donations from fans that came as well on top of their ticket sales. And so that's the business guy in me was like, people want, if you want to support it, give people opportunity, and they will. And that's what that was for.
I know I've always seen like donation jars on smaller stages for people to come up and contribute monetarily to whoever is providing the entertainment for the evening. And as people are kind of moving away from cash, I think, we can all agree that we're becoming more and more less of a cash. We're becoming less and less of a cash society. We're more and more of a card society.
Yeah.
I have seen donations pop up in like a card reader type of thing. Is that something you guys would be interested in doing for to support the musicians in the future? If people just want to come and like do like a $1 tap or a $5 tap.
Yeah, I think if we can, when you see a tip jar in front of a band, it's usually because the band's only making tips when they're there.
Or they're making hardly
Almost
anything.
nothing. They're getting paid like $100 to be there, or $200 to be there. So the tipping is only there in front of bands currently because they're not making enough money at the venue. And so, although sure we can do those kind of things, I would rather start to show the band their value before they get on stage.
Our donation idea with the tickets was sort of more than like $1 or $2. It's for your super fan that knows that you're worth more than the $25 ticket and they can afford it. And so they want to, or maybe they had 4 friends that were going to come and only 2 do, and they had already budgeted that. So they just want to give you that money anyway. So the donations that we're seeing are usually higher than $1 or $2, but at the same time, everything helps. So the people who do only put in $1, if everybody came to your show, gave you an extra $1, it still really adds up.
$250.
100%.
Exactly.
250%.
And that's what we already saw is those donations coming in for those bands. And I think if you put a tip jar in front of a band, you're, in my opinion, you're devaluing the band.
And you're implying that you're not paying them correctly.
Right. Or they're not making enough money. But they should just set their ticket prices so that Victoria pays what they're worth.
And tipping's tricky. People feel good about doing it, but also sometimes don't want to. Like if you want to give the band, a $200 donation, you don't necessarily want to walk up to their tip jar and be like,
Drop in $2 a can.
well, you do.
Make it
I just think a lot of people that don't necessarily want you to know it's from them or that they did it, and so it's a way that nobody needs to know.
Yeah.
So I want to support the bands and every way we can, put as much money in the band's pockets as we can, which is why, like, even this space, I did all the rentals myself. We worked on everything. We're the janitors. We're cleaning everything in the space. We have to reset the space today for tonight's show, but that's so that we can keep costs down for the bands, because the lower we can keep the costs of running this place, the more money we put in the band's pockets. And that's what's important to us.
It's a lot of sweat equity you guys are putting in.
Yeah.
Wow. How much time have you had between your acquisition of the space and your, your opening, soft opening last weekend?
It's kind of, that's a weird question because we got the keys in, I think, the end of November.
Okay.
But then there's like a month and Christmas in the middle and stuff. So we worked on the space, everything that we could start working on, we started working on right away. Yeah. But then the things that were the most challenging were like the permitting, right? So all those things took time because that just takes time to get all those things done. And so those were the things that were kind of, our opening time was dictated by that. And when we got all those in finally, it was a week before. We literally said, fine, let's have a show. And we threw all these shows up on the website that we kind of talked to people about so that we could just get music going in here. So
it was like a week.
Yeah, it was like, they didn't even have a week to promote, right?
We had no beer, we had no staff.
The Monday we had nothing. We had no beer, we had no staff, we had no glasses, we had nothing. We literally threw up a post for staff like right away. So got people to share it. We interviewed a bunch of people, and Whirlwind hired a couple staff so we would have some bar staff. All the local, because we wanted it all to be local beer if we could, so we brought in all those guys, and
like 3 days.
Literally the entire place got opened after we got permits in a whirlwind in 3 days.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so impressive. It must have been a lot of like sleepless nights.
What's
We're like taking turns sleeping right now. So that someone's always working.
It's Friday. I'm really excited to see how this space progresses and what you guys end up doing with it. It's such an exciting project, and you have such deep roots in the community. Have you both lived in Victoria for a long time?
Yeah, it's born here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're actually in Victoria. Is that a word?
Victorian. Then you sound like
Victorite? That sounds kind of more fun. Yeah.
Cool. So we were talking about monetary cost and then just paying your performers. Are you hoping to keep the cost of tickets low without those like hidden fees to make the space more accessible for people? Do you find that your cost of your tickets is accessible for people that want to enjoy music in the community? I know that we're kind of in this weird era where people don't really have a lot of extra money for events.
We're letting the bands set the ticket prices right now. So the bands get to choose the ticket prices. And all of the things that we're doing, we're trying to do to build the community here. And like the example you gave of the ticketing engine, the reason that we did that, took all the fees off, is because it's annoying for fans. But at the time when they're supposed to be excited to be buying their ticket, they're slapped with an extra $5 to $10 on their ticket, and it hurts. And so that's why we made that decision, was to get that experience more enjoyable for your fans and the community coming here.
I think that it's tricky because we can't really make the ticket price be super low, because again, the musicians put a lot of work into what they do and they need to get paid for it. And so we want people to start to understand that more, that when you come to something, I mean, if you're spending even $35 or $40 on a ticket, that's less than you would spend on a dinner. That's, it's not that much when you think about how many hours of entertainment are you going to get. So if you get here at 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 4 hours, 40, I mean, most of the tickets are $30.
Yeah.
That's not a lot per hour. So we just want to make sure that it's worth it when you come. So whatever the ticket price is, you're picky about how you're spending your money. So know that when you come here, you're going to be super close to the band, that the bands are going to be quality and they're going to have worked hard to put on a good show for you, that the drinks are going to be mostly local companies, really cold beer, that the staff is going to be super friendly, that you're going to feel welcome, that you're going to feel safe, that you're going to find new friends and have a great experience. So that even if we can't make the ticket price be that low, you'll know that if you saved up to come to it, it's going to be an experience that you're going to remember, and it'll be 100% worth the money that you spent.
Awesome.
And I think too, the interesting thing that I think a lot of fans don't realize is that if you buy the ticket to support the band, you buy drinks to support us.
Yeah.
And I think that's lost. There's a lot of people who just go to a thing and just drink water and don't care about the venue.
I don't know if it's something I don't care.
I just
they don't think
facetious,
about
but
it.
they don't. They might not know. They might
Yeah.
think that they bought their ticket and that's supporting live music. And yes, it is. But we also need to support the venue. So when Christina and I go out, every time we go somewhere, even if their food is shitty, which we've been to a lot of places, you're like, oh my God, I won't say names, but we go and we have a beer and we have some food and we support the venue, because without the venues, they have nowhere to play. So I've always thought in my mind, whatever you spend on a ticket, come and spend on the venue.
That doesn't mean you have to have alcoholic drinks. We're going to try to have a wider range of mocktails and things like that too. Even if you just buy bottles of water, like whatever it is, it's helping the venue with the cost.
100%. And like supporting, all of the extra work that you guys are putting into it, I'm sure you said this is a passion project right now. You're certainly not paying yourselves at this moment.
Definitely.
And we're literally working the place so we can keep the costs down.
Yeah.
It's like a third job for
This weekend you will see us at the door and at the bar.
everywhere, helping the bands carry gear up the stairs.
Yeah.
Like that's our job. So
So in terms of shows for this weekend, what do you have lined up for? I know you're playing a show. You've got some shows tonight, tomorrow. What's happening?
We have in the front room tonight, we have Aston Martini. They bill themselves as if Quentin Tarantino cast a band, it would be them. And I think have one or maybe two tickets.
There's only two tickets.
So I think they're going
Whoa.
to sell out for sure. And then the band in the main room tonight is Canadian Beauty. They're a Grateful Dead tribute band, and they're getting really close to sold out too. So I think by tonight that might be sold out as well.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night in the bar stage, we have Less Life. They're a jazz band that's going to be doing like a New Orleans Fat Tuesday party. And then in this room we've got Tight Hair Disco, and they're a blast. Their fans come out in full disco gear, and it's just a party.
Wow. That's cool.
We should come get some footage.
Or just come and dance. It's because it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so excited.
And we've got lots of things coming up too. Like we've got bands that have booked themselves in regularly. Pablo Cardenas is going to be doing a once a month Latin night on the second Saturday of every month with a different theme every time. So he was one of our opening bands, and that was kind of special because he was one of the very last bands to play the space when it shut down and really relied on the income from this space. And so he really wanted to be one of the first bands. So even though his show will be the first Saturday of every month, he put an extra one so he could be on opening weekend. And we did, it was the Havana
Havana Nights, I think.
theme. No, it was Club Havana.
Club Havana.
Club Havana, and so it was all Havana themed. And then this one is a Latin American theme, and so everyone will be slightly different. He does a tribute to one of us, the social club, and that'll happen every month with different musicians and dancers and things like that. And then we've got Folk Night that was here last night. They'll be here once a month.
Regularly on a Thursday night. So
Oh, wow.
There's a drop-in choir that's here.
on Monday, they're
200
sold out.
200 people on a Monday night, standing room only, drop-in choir, sold out in like 2 days.
My friend she participates in 3 choirs in Vancouver, and their choir performances always sell out.
Yeah.
And which is crazy. It's like B-Roll and Pacific Soul, and there's another one too that she's in. That's so cool. So that's amazing. I've been in choirs myself, so that's really cool for me to hear.
He's got a few coming up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Which choir is that?
It's called the.
All together now?
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And we'll be adding more because we just opened, we're starting to fill out the calendar. So if people watch the website, you'll see all kinds of cool stuff starting to pop up once we've got it solidified. So
We've got a swing dance coming up with a jazz vocalist and a prohibition theme. We've got Alan and the Daves. It's their debut show.
which is awesome. It's their first show ever, which is awesome. We love that.
How many Daves are in this band?
2.
I think it's one Alan, 2 Daves.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and then we've also been talking to promoters from out of town too. Like we were talking to a promoter from New York and one from Montreal about getting some bigger acts in here. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
that's what we really want to do is
That's-
tap into some tour schedules.
It's
and
built
see.
for it, I think.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah.
That's so cool that things are ramping up in like a really positive way already. It's February here, which is not our tourist season by any means.
Yeah.
I'm sure when tourist season comes underway, like you guys will have it dialed in by then. And
Well, we hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
our heart is really that this becomes the place everyone comes for shows. Like this is, we want this to be the musician's place, and we want it to be the music person's place.
Yeah.
So they know that if they come here, that they're treated well, everything is awesome, the bands are good, and that way we see our job as a venue as being creating a space where bands and fans can connect, and where fans and fans can connect. So that's why you've heard us talk about community and culture so much, is because that's what this is to us, is a building where people come and connect and build this community around the space so that they can be a part of a bigger community family. And that I think is really important for us. That's why we care so much about bands and the people coming in, why we do things like the number one thing we did here was our sound system. We had this room sound modeled and sound engineered by an LA company and put a bunch of money into making it the best sound in Victoria. We had them come up, and so we 3D modeled the whole room and sent them all the files, and then they did some audio engineering, computer simulated audio engineering, told us what systems to buy, what we needed for in here, all that kind of stuff. And then then they came up here and put microphones all in the room and assessed the actual room's sound dynamics, just running all kinds of weird sounds to the room and all kinds of stuff. And then once the gear arrived, they came and installed the gear. And it just seemed like fussing over angles of speakers and things like that and then they EQ'd the entire room. So we have a bass EQ in the room it sounds incredible in here, because to me, if we're talking about music and music is emotional, the way that music communicates is with ears and sound waves. That is the number one thing for this venue. And so that's why we put so much effort into even just that. But just to give you an idea of like how everything we do is to make this the place that musicians can have killer connections and people can have killer connections.
And we still have lots of space for bands to come. There's been some misinformation spread a little bit to the media that we're fully booked, and we're not. We have bands that have held dates through to December, so we do have bookings, but there's lots of holes and spaces. So if there's bands that want to play, they should definitely get in touch with us, because we've got room for everybody.
And you guys are looking to do like 7 days a week?
If we can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're open to this.
We will be open whenever somebody wants to be here.
Someone's like, I want this night. We're like, we're in. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, we'll do a Monday night, sure, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay,
Wow.
amazing. That's a dream. That's the dream. We go to a lot of shows actually, and I feel like it's been a lot of like, this is fine. Like I need to see this show, so I will go to this place, and it is fine. It's fine. Yeah, but it's definitely, there's like some holes. Yeah. So this is very exciting. This is here.
Yeah, when they finished the sound engineering, this room and all the tuning stuff, I played and some music. I was like, oh, really amazing sound. I told them I wanted this to be the best sound in Victoria.
Yeah.
And then I want to work to world class. And so they've actually given me, okay, here's the best in Victoria, and to work to world class is going to take me 4 years and a bunch of money. So I have a build path from them on how we're going to make both these stages the most amazing sounding, like world class sound.
Most exciting thing for me is it can be loud enough in here that the room feels full of sound and you can feel it, but you can still have a conversation over it.
And it doesn't hurt. You don't have to wear earplugs in here at all.
Oh,
even if it's loud. I'll turn it on for you guys before you leave. You can see what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's cool. One thing that I consistently hear, not to name any names against any local operating large venue spaces, but that there's a couple of places in town that you can't hear anything if you're in a maybe further back section of the venue. And that's something that people who are consumers of music consistently say. So it's really great that you guys are kind of like, making sure that's that your communication between the band and the people who are patrons is going to be a lot closer.
There's nowhere in this room you can't see the stage from. We have no obstructed views. Pillars.
You're no more than 40 feet away from the farthest part. And the rig they brought up here to do all that, there's only 2 or 3 of those rigs in North America.
Wow.
So it was here.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. But that's why we do that, because we care about, we want the band to be able to connect with the person way up in the back corner there as much, because not everyone wants to be right on the dance floor. They might, they might want to be back in the shadows a little bit, but why should they have a different experience from someone who wants to be right here in the middle of the dance floor?
I've definitely met people in this room who are still friends of mine, and I'll run into them in the community, and it's really cool that we share this common interest in music. And I've seen them at other shows, and maybe we haven't told the other person that we're going to be at that show. And it's nice to see people who the people do exist in this community that want to see live music, that want to participate in live music. They want to connect with that space. They want to meet other people there. So this is a very, very important part of the city. It's really important what you guys are doing. Live music is very, very important.
Yeah.
I think it opens up so many, it opens up so many opportunities for you to become emotional or, express yourself if you're in music yourself.
Or even if you're just in the audience.
Yeah. There's so many good things. Yeah.
Well, we created this space for Victorians, so come out. This is the way that people are going to support and show that this is what they care about, is to be a part of it.
Yeah, we need people to tell everybody. Tell your friends.
Tell your bands.
Yeah.
We're here.
The bands are excited about it. Now we just need to make sure that the community is excited about it and get them there. Because if we have incredible acts that have put all their heart and soul into putting on this presentation, but nobody shows up, we can't run a venue full of amazing music and nobody here to enjoy it. So now we really have to get.
That'd be great for me. I don't want to
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
How are you gonna how do we tell the community that you're here? Or is there QR codes with posters? Play at the Coda, come to the Coda.
Great
how are
question.
We have to get better at it still. So the website is gotothecoda.com. Coda CODA. So gotothecoda.com. We have a mailing list. The link is currently missing from the website, but it'll come back. So it's hard to sign up for the mailing list, but we'll fix it. We have a Facebook. It's all Go to the Coda. So Facebook and Instagram.
Go to the Coda.
And so we'll just
go to thecoda.com. Go to the Coda on Facebook.
We're not great at it yet because we just wanted to get open. And now that we're open, we're going back and getting better at all the things that we let slide to get the permits to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So
this is the staying up until 3 a.m. stuff.
Definitely. So now I have to get back to all the bands that put holds on the dates and confirm them and start helping them promote, and it'll just get better and better all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so joining the mailing list once we have that link up would be
We have to get the
incredible.
link back up.
And then just going back to the site and seeing what's popping up, because there's news like a new one went up last night.
And there'll be
Maybe one
probably
before.
2 more or 3 more added to the site today, I think.
Yeah.
So every day there's more shows coming.
Cool. And if somebody wanted to maybe, maybe the website goes down again, or you have some changes you need to make, and there's something happening on that end, is there another way somebody can contact you? Do you have an email address that you can reach out?
Yeah, info@gotothecoda.com. Or if you want to book the space, booking@gotothecoda.com.
Cool.
And then we are answering questions on Facebook and stuff as well. So you can get hold of us on Facebook and stuff.
You're active on social media.
Not as active as
We're
we
getting
should
there.
be. We're trying to. Catching up.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, given that everything is us, right?
Yeah. I think the fastest way is the email, and then
Yeah,
the
for
rest comes. We'll get there.
I heard Al mention something about live streaming as well. That's something that you
We would
wanna
like
kick
to
off?
get there, yeah. So we owned a company for a while called Livestream Victoria, the two of us as well. And so we have all gear, and we would like to get this live stream at some point as well. So, but that's like we have a lot of work to do just to get the place going before we start adding a whole nother business model on top of it. I already have 2 business models going. We launched a club, and we built a software company that runs ticketing.
Right,
So it's like we launched 2 companies at exactly the same time.
You're ambitious folks. That's wonderful.
And so this ticketing company, would you, when it's like all dialed in, are you happy to get other businesses onto this platform?
Yeah, we could do that. So we built the whole back end of the system. This is going to get really nerdy, so that it can expand. So we could let other venues use the same ticketing engine if they want to, or other events and things like that. There's still work to do before we're there, but it's pretty close. And so we could definitely 100% work with other venues to help solve the problem of ticketing be better.
Yeah.
Bye bye Ticketmaster.
Yes. Yeah, here, bank, right?
Beat that out.
And so my son did a lot of the programming on this stuff. He's super talented. He's about 21, 22, and where he's going to put a lot of time into getting it open as well, so other people can start using it as well. So he's excited about helping solve that problem as well. So
Cool.
yeah, the thought is already there.
And I heard that your son was also working the door on opening.
Yeah, tomorrow night. No, tonight. He's working tonight, and he worked last weekend. So yeah,
My dad.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And what other members in your family are involved in this project? Everybody.
That's it so far.
Okay.
Yeah, but everyone has said they're willing to help when we need them. But we're also the kind of people that people have called us and said, hey, I'd like to volunteer and do a door for you. And because we care so much about the culture we're creating here, we're very, very picky about who gets to work here, even volunteering. But on top of that, we don't want to be the kind of people that take advantage of the community. We're giving this to Victoria to give this to Victoria. So we're paying more than minimum wage. We're taking care of everything we can. We're doing tons of work ourselves. So we haven't been taking people up on their offers to help a lot because we value their time. If we're saying you need to come here and spend some money and value the musicians, we need to value them as much.
We did have some great volunteer help, though. My dancers quite often showed up late night after rehearsals and scrubbed the floor behind the bar and vacuumed this whole place and really helped us at crunch time to get everything set up. So, yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, big shout out to those guys. They didn't do that. They were great.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect example of your community coming together to support you when you need it, and whether or not you like it.
Maybe
You're not going to pay us. It's going to be fine.
If people volunteer all the time, then it's not as valuable. Does that make sense? Then you start feeling taken advantage of a little bit, and when you really need the help, people go, oh, what, I just volunteered last week and whatever. I would rather pay people until we're really stuck. And then that if I say to you, I really need your help this weekend, that I mean it.
Yeah.
And that now I really need you.
Yeah.
And so then you're more likely to get good help when it's really important.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's so nice.
We firmly believe that. Well, I've always said for years that people are like bank accounts. You can't withdraw without depositing.
Great.
So you have to give to the community, you have to give to people before you ever go, help me, help me, help me. But I think the culture in a lot of ways just worldwide has shifted to where it's like everyone's like, help me, help me, help me, and not giving enough. And so I think that you can't expect from people unless you give a deposit into their lives. That's
Yeah.
kinda how we go.
I always use the term emotional investments.
Yeah.
You know, we make emotional investments and we hope that we make a return on our investments. So whatever you kind of put in, you're hoping to get back. I think that's really important.
And I feel the same way. I just have always felt like I'm okay if I put in and don't get back. And because I'm okay with that, we don't have to if you don't ask for things until it's desperate, right? And I think that's the culture that I like to operate in, because I've been fortunate enough in my life. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I've made a ton of money and been on the edge of bankruptcy like 3 times in my life.
Wow.
So to be able to go through that and know that you have to value everyone and it's okay to give. There's a funny story about it. When I was younger, I've lived through my whole life. A buddy of mine and I used to make a big, huge vat of chili. And when the old Blue Bridge was there used to be a little hut down there that all the homeless people would hang out at. We used to take a big, huge vat of chili down every Saturday with a bunch of buns and stuff and just go hang out with the people down there. And no one knew we were doing it. Everyone in my life was like, that's too dangerous. I'm like, come on, whatever. We're feeding them. I wanted to give. And so one day, one of the guys was like, hey, come for a walk. And we just got to get something. And I knew we'd been down there a bunch. And so we walked up to for him to go buy some stuff. And on the way back, he stopped me. And he used to make these little staffs that were like super varnished with little tips and a bit like a walking stick.
Cool.
And he would sell them. That was kind of how he was making money on the street. And he was like, I want you to have my staff. He was like trying to give me this person's staff. And I'm like, I'm not taking your staff. Like, I'm not here to take. Like, my life is okay.
Yeah.
At that point, I was only 18 or 19. I was living with my parents and I didn't need anything. I was here to help and support. And he was like, no, take my staff. And he kept doing like, I was like, no. So I was fighting him, trying to not take it. And then he pulled the gun on me. And he put the gun on me and he's like, you will take my staff. And I was like, it took every ounce to say no, not to say no. And then he like, you need to understand that if you don't take my staff, you're robbing me from the joy that you get when you're helping. And that was a life lesson I'll never forget. And that staff is still sitting beside my door. So every time I leave my house, that was when I was 18. It's still sitting there to remind me that even though the two of us are people that are like, let's not take help, we need to let people help too.
Because that's how they appreciate you.
Yeah.
Give back to you and makes them feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what community really is, right? Like, community is a give and take. It's not, as soon as it becomes one-sided, it's not community. And so that's kind of, it's always a good reminder of me, although I'm super self-sufficient and I try to do everything myself, I need to remember that if I don't let people help, sometimes I'm stealing their joy.
To go to the Coda.com.
Yeah.
So you can help these guys out against their wishes.
Yeah.
With their full blessing.
And buy tickets and come down and buy some drinks and support the bands and support the venue. And that's the best thing. That's the help that everyone can give us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Help us grow the community. And then you'll feel like you're a part of making this a success, because if you can help grow the people that come here all the time, we'll be able to stick around. And it will have been because of your help that we did.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Cool. Is there any event venues in town that you are patrons of currently that you really appreciate their space and you've maybe taken some of their ideas and you're like, I want to operate similarly to that? That's very inspiring for me. I love that they're bringing community together. I love how they're supporting musicians local and from outside the realm of Vancouver Island. And it's kind of, it's been an inspiration to you.
We go to Wicked Hall a lot right now because the Blues Jam is there, and that's an awesome event that people should come support.
Deb has done an incredible job of creating a blues community that's really supportive of each other, and I love that.
And it's been going a long time.
Yeah.
So we take a lot of inspiration from that event a lot. I think that we're trying to create something that Victoria can be proud of. It's new. And so we're not aligning it a lot. Like, we haven't taken a lot of ideas from around here.
Yeah, I feel like I've found the inspiration more when we travel, and that's sort of more what we're trying to bring here is, like I said, the community that happens in Puerto Rico around live music is incredible to me. And if we could somehow get people to feel a piece of that here, that would be great. And then there's some really great clubs, like we go to Jazz Alley in Seattle a lot, and Jazz Alley would be like my dream club. It's
Dinner
like
club.
the old school jazz club where you go and have dinner and you're sitting this close to the stage, and there's Grammy winning artists every single day, and it's sold out all the time, and they can have all ages shows sometimes, and there's multiple shows a night, and they treat you so well that bands come back every single year because you have to play Jazz Alley. And that's kind of what we want. We want this place to be, you have to play the Coda. Remember when we went there and how great they treated us and what it sounded like and the connection with people and people traveling from other places to go there. Like every time we go to Jazz Alley, we run into people from, obviously Seattle, but LA and New York and Vancouver, like people come from everywhere to go to Jazz Alley. So that that definitely is an inspiration for me.
And also the way that we take care of musicians too. Like the first night we were opening, one of the band guy was like, I've never in 30 years of music had somebody carry my gear upstairs for me. And that was a local band. And we're like, then now you're at the right place. Because this is where we value it. If one of my staff won't go pick up an amp for somebody, if they have the time, then we hire them.
Yeah.
If we won't do it, like we'll do it. Like I'll be helping the bands tonight. Carry all their gear up the stage.
The community that my dance has created has been a big inspiration too. Like I've been running a dance company here for 25 years, and I don't feel like it was me that did it. It's the combination of people that we've had over the years that's done it. So we do auditions every year for a team that travels internationally to represent Canada at some of the top events in the world. And those people that make it to that level and experience the world of dance and all these other cultures bring a piece of that back here and have helped to create this incredible community where, again, it doesn't matter who you are or what your background is or how much experience you have or anything. If you show up with the right energy and attitude, who you are outside doesn't matter. And that supportive feeling of no judgment, just come and have a good time. It doesn't matter if you're new or experienced or anything. You just know people are going to be there to share with you. And it's just been growing. I think that's just been so helpful to so many people's lives that it'd be great if that could spill into this too.
Yeah, because this is for everyone. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no niche here. This is for everyone.
Good. Good. I know that you had also mentioned before that there is like a nice sort of space for the musicians to have just for themselves. And then you're also hoping to create an area that if the musicians wanted to bring a +1, they could have, a spot for their VIP guests.
Yeah, it's right in the corner.
Back there.
Oh, yeah, also
It's
that.
all set up.
Yeah.
There's one in both rooms. So even the small stage that's the bar stage that's meant for kind of the smaller, they have a room too. So that there's a spot just for their, if they want to leave it open, that's up to them. But we want to give the bands that opportunity to do that.
Awesome. Leave it open and they'll sell merch out of there.
Yeah, whatever they want.
Well, that's really nice that they're able to have some privacy and it kind of adds to that VIP experience for the people who are going to be performing here.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played at that show, at that stage in Seattle? Jazz Alley? No? Okay.
No. I'm not famous enough. Maybe one day.
You're gonna make your own clubs.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
How many times do you when's the next trip? Like where's your next location? I guess this project's clearly a thief of your time
Yes, right
and
now.
your energy. So do you have any plans in the future to travel somewhere, maybe with your dance company or
Lots of travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Al's actually one of my top dancers. He performed in New York with us last year.
Cool.
And so this year...
We opened the New York Salsa Congress in Times Square. We were the opening crew.
So we'll be doing that again this year. And also the Puerto Rico Salsa Congress and the World Salsa Ladies Championship. I'm the Canadian judge for that. So we'll be in Puerto Rico in the end of summer with a bunch of dancers again, touring around the island and learning about their culture. And
It's funny how now, because we have this, our travel is going to be mostly around dance, not this like our travel, because we
don't have
work Christmas. We want to get this place going for Victoria and survive. We signed a 5-year lease with the option to renew a lot more, so we've tied this up for 20-25 years so we can make it an institution, because it needs to be an institution.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The good thing about our dance travel is that because dance and music are so connected, like salsa music is made for dancers and brings dancers onto the stage and things like that all the time. We have been lucky enough to meet some really high-level musicians, like all of the top salsa musicians in the world. We've shared a stage with them. I got to sit in on sax with some of them. So we have some pretty high-level Grammy-winning artists, good friends. And so that's a nice connection for the club too, because when we travel, we're sharing their world, but we get to tell them about this place and hopefully get to there too and share ideas. That's the best thing, is when you get to visit other communities, you're this, I don't know how to explain it. When we roll into New York and go to a jazz club and you know the band that's playing, they're introducing you to the club owners, and now we can have this shared connection of, we have this incredible friend that we share. So then you share information and ideas and knowledge. And so that'll be part of our travel, because we're spending so much time with live music in dance trips. We'll make lots of new club owner connections and musician connections.
And your opening weekend, you did incorporate salsa class. Am I right about
So
that?
we didn't.
We didn't.
Oh,
It was
okay.
super coincidental. So Pablo's done lots of shows historically in Victoria and always hired Christina at some point to do a salsa lesson at one of his shows. And so it just happened to be that in the rotation of salsa dancers he hires to do shows, it was Christina's turn on the exact night that was our opening night. And so, and her dance troupe did a performance in here that night too, because he hires
With
for that.
me in it.
With me in it. So next time he does it, it's a different instructor. So there will still be a salsa lesson, but that's all the way he does his shows. It had nothing to do with it. It was
coincidental.
had nothing to do with us. It just the timing worked out.
It was your time.
Yeah.
So did that inhibit you from really contributing to the kind of, ups and downs that you get on an opening night, or did it make you feel more a part of it?
It was tricky to be. Well, on the Friday I played in the bands too, again, coincidentally. So it was a little bit tricky being on stage, but we're a great team. And so on the first night when I was playing sax, he was still around doing whatever, so we didn't have to worry about anything. And then on the second night, there was just a very short amount of 3 minutes when we're on stage together, and a little bit of time to change into a costume, and that's it. But there was always one of us around. And I felt like, especially on the second night, it probably helped because, like I said, my dancers have created such a great community. And by Pablo inviting Salsa Caliente to be part of his event, we brought all of our team and all of our students. And so they were here helping bring that feeling to the first night of the salsa parties here. So I think it probably was a great thing that we were involved.
And surprisingly, everything went really well.
Yeah.
We didn't have any major catastrophes. There was nothing that went wrong.
Well, we planned for everything to go wrong so that nothing went wrong. And we surrounded ourselves with people who care as much about the space being a success as we do. Our staff is great. The sound engineer, incredible. The people that we found just have such a heart for what we're doing over everything that I think because they were also careful to make it special, we didn't have any problems.
Yeah, I was prepared for lots of them. Nothing. The musicians that played the stage were like, how did you they've played the stage before, and they're like, how did you make the stage sound so good? On stage, right? And then other musicians who were in the audience were like, what did you do to this room? We've been here before and we don't even understand.
There were tears.
There was people crying because it sounded so good.
From the musicians and from the community. And that's, I hate to say it, but that's good.
Happy tears.
That's
mop the floor at night.
With your tears.
And even some of the dancers that came to the Latin night, they were like, they've danced in here before, and they're like, what did you do to the floor?
They thought we replaced it, and
they were like,
Al got down on his hands and knees and scrubbed it. We did not replace the floor; we just cleaned it.
Because they just weren't cleaning it, so it was sticky and wasn't great to dance on. And we're being dancers, we're like, let's clean the floor.
Yeah.
So, but it's just all those little things that you can't even tell everyone enough of that we're doing behind the scenes to make this
the details, right? All the little details are important, and so it's hard to keep track of them all and not to let any slide. But that's what really makes the difference.
Yeah, that's fair.
The floor looks great. I just heard it.
So it's like, it's the same floor. Just clean.
It's nice when you go into a club in the day and you're not disgusted.
Yeah, right?
Like, right? Yeah.
And we like, you can see we haven't painted the place yet. We haven't, like, all the little, there's like paint chips missing. And that was the least of our worries, because that doesn't drive community and emotion. Like, I'm okay if it's a little bit dirty. We've got all the paint to paint it. We just haven't had time. Like,
Yeah.
But we cared about we started from the things that matter to the community and we're moving out, right? Because that's why sound was the first thing we tackled, because that's the biggest impact, and then the staffing, and then so it's just all about building out from what's key to making sure this is an amazing community place for people to come and experience community around live music, and then we'll fix everything else. Like, I don't, like, if we don't get to paint the walls for a year, do I care? It doesn't affect community, right? It just makes it look a little nicer. But yeah, so that's why those things. We just really care about what building the community out. And so doing the dance floor, like, people love to dance, right? So have a floor that's not going to have your shoes sticking to it for 2 seconds. And a secret underneath this, I think, is hardware. So one day when I have a ton of money, whatever that's going to be,
Right.
I would like to pull up a corner and see if the hardwood is still here and if we could refinish it and make it all.
It used to be the Fraternal Order of Eagles Hall. And so it was wood floor through the entire building, and a second, like, this is a 2-story room that the comedy club put this fake ceiling in to make it feel more intimate. But if you go above the ceiling, there's big archways up there. And
Oh, no way.
oh yeah. And so when Herman took over the space, he suctioned it off and made the separate rooms. And so we can't take the middle part out anymore, make it one big room anymore, because now that's where the bar fridge and the washrooms and everything are in the middle. So unfortunately that is stuck there. But the floor is, we think, under here. There was a fire here at one point, and so we don't know if the fire destroyed the floor or not. So we have to have enough money that if the floor is destroyed,
If I start pulling it up, we have enough
can
money to
redo
replace it.
Yeah.
but we would like to one day have this be a whole wood floor again.
Cool. That really, like, pays homage to the original heritage of the building. Would you be able to open up the ceiling to? Oh, nice.
One day.
So, and the sound engineers were here. We're like, when we go to world class, the ceiling will go up, because there's a lot more we can do in here to make it world class if we get rid of this drop.
And then it's beautiful. It's got big arches on the sides, and it's really nice.
Wow. It seems like a shame that they, like, architecturally, from an architectural standpoint, it seems like a shame that they covered it up.
It was the Upnext. It was the comedy club, and I get it, because for a comedy club, you need the voices to travel. You need, like, a tighter.
Well, and they also put some earthquake stabilization in, so there's some big metal beams and stuff that have to be up there now. But you wouldn't notice it. Yeah.
So I think it'll kind of add to the feeling, honestly. But that's a giant job.
Yeah.
So
One day. Dream list.
We have these, all the money that is made in this place, if there is any, the end of the day, is going to go back and make it better, because this isn't our careers.
Yeah.
This is our passion project. Like, it's a giant passion project.
Yeah.
It would be a career for anyone
But
else.
we're careful with how we spend the money, because the more money we spend, the more we have to charge, and we don't want to do that. So until we can do it without upping rents and things like that, then we just won't.
Yeah.
So if it stays with no paint and with this ceiling for a long time, then it does, because we don't want to make it so beautiful you can't afford to be here.
No, we want to try and drive the rent. We want to try and drive the costs down over time.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Cool. That's music to my ears.
Literally.
I also had a question. If somebody wanted to book in with your salsa company, it's called Salsa Caliente.
Yeah.
How would somebody be able to contact you regarding that project? And just because it's also such a great community connector, dance is really cool, and you said it ties in with music. If there's another venue that wants to have you in their space, how can they get in contact with you for that?
Yeah, so if you want to learn how to dance, we do monthly classes registered on a monthly basis. You don't need a partner, so we have some people who come out as partners, but we have more that don't, and we rotate partners. Even if you come with somebody, we rotate all through the class so that you're meeting everybody and you're not just there as a tiny group. You get to become part of everybody. And so that happens every month at Studio 4 Athletics, which is close to here. So you just have to get in touch with us through our website, which is salsawithme.com. And yeah, we sell out quickly. So if people are interested, they need to get in touch with us fast so that each month we'll get you in as quickly as we can. And then once people are in, they usually stay for a long time, which is great. And we do parties twice a month ourselves, one at Studio 4 Athletics on the second Saturday of every month. And then Swing City, which has been going on in Victoria for more than 40 years, I think, at the Edelweiss Club in James Bay. They just rebranded in January as Dance City, and they're doing a different theme every week instead of just being swing all the time. So the fourth Friday of every month is Salsa Night at Dance City, and we're running that. And then we have our dance groups. We've got right from a student group where you don't ever have had to dance before. It's all adults. Some just found out about salsa like last week. So you don't have to have any experience at all. We teach you choreography and we do local shows, up to our top teams that travel internationally and represent Canada at some of the top events in the world. And all of those are available for performances. So we do a lot of local festivals. We're going to be performing on the lawn of the Parliament buildings in the summer, and at the Rain Dance Festival at Mary Winsmere, like lots of things like that. But we'll also do private parties and corporate events and other shows, other places. And so people can get in touch with us, and we can do anywhere from like a 3-minute song with our beginner dancers to a full hour with costume changes after every number, or, just our top team that travels internationally.
You sound like a very organized individual. Like you're hearing about all
so much going on. You have to be.
Yeah.
I don't always.
Could have done what we did in the last 6 months if we worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us here at the Coda Club today. This is a really exciting space. I can think of nothing more important that Victoria needs at the moment as a patron of live music. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules to chat with us. We really appreciate sitting down with you guys and hearing all about your thoughts on community and music and connecting people together. And dance as well. Like that's all new information for me, and that's it's so important what you're doing, and we really appreciate you being here.
Well, thanks for taking the time, because we really appreciate it too, and we need to spread the word. And so things like this are really important to helping us do that, and just let people know what it's going to be like when they get here, and hopefully we'll see you guys here enjoying the music.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We'll have links in the section down below, so you can always check, get all the information that you need to come to the Coda.
Also, usually the wrap up of every episode, we just like to make a quick land acknowledgement to the Esquimalt and Songhees First Nation. We're occupying their land. This is the unceded territory that we're on. I believe it's Wasanyak and Lekwungen people. So just making sure that we respect the traditional stewards of the land. And the fact that we're occupying this space, we're so lucky to be here in this space. And I think that's about it. Yeah.